song. I don't own the rights to this song. I hope y'all having a wonderful Monday, guys. What's up, Instagram? What's up, Facebook? This is usually Men's Monday, but we're gonna start a book today, guys. We'll let y'all chime in a little bit. If you look, I don't own the rights to this music right here, guys. I don't own the rights. Facebook, Instagram. Hoping y'all having a blessed, wonderful Monday so far. We're gonna get the week started. All my marriage couples, get online right now. Everybody get online. Get your husband, get your wife. This is not a men's call Monday today. I usually do a men's call Monday. We'll get back to it. But today, get that significant other on the line right now. Tell them, tag them on Facebook, Instagram, whatever you want to do to let them know. We're going to be doing a book today. We're going over chapter 1. The book, Intended for Pleasure, right here, by Ed Wheat, right here. Y'all see it? Intended for Pleasure. We're going to go over that, right? As my significant, my better half is getting ready to enter the room. You know? So, again, like I said, I don't own the rights to this music, but I want y'all guys to chime in. Like I said, get your wife, get your husband. This is a good time to, take some quality time out real quick. You're not going to be long with you guys. It's the book club, Intended for Pleasure. Right?
Book club in the building.
So my wife is now in the building. So again, guys, get your people on. Get other marriage couples on.
We don't want the rights to this music, by the way. Let's go. You just took the whole thing, didn't you?
Yes.
Just the whole thing. All right, let's jump in it. We're going to be like about 30 minutes. We're not going to be the whole hour like this. This is a introduction. What are we reading? Did y'all get the book? Chime in if y'all got the book on Amazon. I got it in a day, so y'all can still get it. We still got time. If you don't, then it's all good. Just follow through with us.
Intended for Pleasure.
Intended for Pleasure. Now, how do we get into this book first? Let's talk about that for 30 seconds.
Yes. So, I was like, what'd be good right now is a good book to sow some seeds right now for upcoming months, right? So right now they say these are the golden months, what I heard, right? So this is something that we can sow some seeds into marriages, Intended for Pleasure, right?
Whose idea was this book?
It was a little bit of both of us.
This specific title.
But this is more you.
The title. No. Well, I kind of was like, babe, this sounds good. But where did we get the title from though? Like whose idea?
Well, I don't know.
Who wanted the book, Brandon? Like who said get this type of book?
Well, I did. Because that's what I was saying. Okay, but you found the actual book. She found the actual book. You know how it goes. She found the actual book because she was like, well, what kind of book do you want to get involved in, right? And I said, I really want like a sexual book. A more book that's like...
You want some freaky dicky shit. That's what it is.
Because I still wanted to relate, in a sense of, biblical and stuff like that a little bit, And I also wanted to, something that was a little bit spicy as far as like 50 Shades of Grey. But, this right here, this will work. We're going to go with this right here.
So this came up under the Google on top of a couple books. And I said, you know what? Let's read it. I read a couple of... sex techniques and sexual fulfillment in Christian marriage. So, again, disclosure, y'all know we are God first, God in the marriage, in the center. It's, the Bible, this is what we believe, this is our truth, the truth. So, if you're not on that level, you can still listen in.
Yeah.
You can still, pay attention. there's some parts that, you know, if it does kind of go deep into the Bible, of course, it's marriage techniques, Christianity wise. But still, listen in. Maybe it might be on your page, on your boat as well. You know, it doesn't hurt. So don't just leave because it's, oh my God, it's a Christian book that they're gonna do. No, because honestly, truth be told, maybe a Christian book right now might be the push that we need in the marriage and whatever you guys are going through, positive or not. You know what I mean? So first chapter.
So the first chapter is intended for pleasure, right? So
how we doing this?
Well,
I don't know.
See, this is how we doing it, right? So I read.
I'm following his lead, guys, and you know that's rare.
Yeah, I read this book when she was kind of in tune and out of tune at the same time.
What you mean? I was paying attention.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I was kind of sleepy.
Yeah.
I still am, but I'm here. So how we doing this? Are you gonna just read the highlighted?
Yeah. So we went over some things we highlighted. We already read the first chapter, right? And the first chapter just really go in how, like, biblically, you know, sex is intended for pleasure, as far as marriages and stuff, right there, right? And so I'll let my wife read over some of the highlights that we discussed in chapter 1, and then we can actually discuss those highlights. Here you go, babe.
So you knew that was the plan? Because I would have been like, don't highlight nothing.
Yeah.
So one of the things that it starts going into, it says, biblical information that can heal wounds. Well, let me start with the whole sentence. The whole sentence is, while as an MD, so the author is a doctor, I can do a great deal to help medically. Often there's a greater need for me to first communicate biblical information that can heal wounds, restore relationships, and establish the right foundation for healthy attitudes towards sex and marriage. So, really quick, when we read this part, the reason why we highlight it is because this is going about biblical things that heal wounds from the past when it comes to sex.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I got it.
Knowing and understanding what God says about face of life. Okay, so go down to the third paragraph. If you guys are reading along, go down to the third paragraph we highlighted. To him, sex was altogether separate from Christian life, from his Christian life. The sexual relationship was an unholy activity in his opinion, and yet he continued it with deep guilt feelings, which tarnished the experience for both him and his wife. What do you think about that?
Now, see, honestly, I can really relate to what he's talking about, because growing up in a Christian background, actually, I grew up in a Baptist church. My dad was Methodist, and growing up in these backgrounds, we really never heard, and maybe because I was young, but even as I got as a teenager and stuff, we really never heard about the sexual relationship in marriages in church, you know. So we didn't know. And then you think about, where did we learn about sex, or how did sex come about into my lives and stuff like that? And it came to me in a sinful way, right? Actually start watching, you know, actually pornographic videos when I was at a young age. You know, I got a hold to those in magazines, and so I never thought that it was a holy way or unholy way, because it was never discussed in the church or in, you know, just in the Christian life. So yeah, I felt it was somewhat unholy, you know, because I felt it was a bad thing, but also I thought it was a good thing, you know. So
then look what it says after that, though. So if, you know, you feel unholy, you feel guilty about the sex and all that, then it says it tarnished the experience for both him and his wife. So this is a big deal, because like Brandon is saying, like, we go as we grow up in different backgrounds thinking, or being told, Catholic. Like me being Catholic, I was told the same, like, you don't have sex until you're married and all these things, and it's unholy, you're sinning, it's a sinful thing, which it is, but it was told more like in a scary effect, like to scare us, of course, like, don't go do it. So then a lot of us bring that experience, that guilt, that attitudes of sex or towards sex, you bring that into your marriage, thinking not that sex is sinful, but I know some of us, even Christians, believe that some activities of sex are sinful. You know, and depending on the experience, you know, we might feel like certain experiences when we were younger that we got told were sinful and bad and unholy. Now we're married, we're like, I was told that wasn't the thing to do. We're just okay to have sex and that's it. But now it gets deeper, like what kind of sex? Like, and we talked about this on our last session discussing the importance of sex, because sex in a marriage is not just the sexual intercourse. Like, it's a lot more deep and more activities. So this book kind of went right into it, you know. The next highlighted, it goes into the second paragraph on the next page, says you have God's permission to enjoy sex within your marriage. So this was a big deal because I know, like I was saying, for me, it was discussed that, like we said, we're not supposed to do it, right? So then the fact that you hear from God, like when it comes to the Bible, it says the permission is given to us, right? God has a perfect plan for marriage, which we may choose to step into at any time. And the mistakes of the past can be dealt with and left behind. So I think it kind of hits in when it's taught, like, a lot of sex trauma. Like, there's a lot of trauma. There's abuse. There is even relationships. Like, even if you got into a bad relationship when you were younger, that maybe something didn't go too good. Things didn't turn out too good. Or you go to the same sex because you had a bad experience and you're thinking, oh, this is okay. Well, side note, disclosure, it's really not okay. And, you know, I'm not saying anti or pro gay or nothing like that, because I don't want no type of arguments. It's all positive vibes. But at the end of the day, the Bible and the Word does say man is with women, women is with man. You know what I mean? Then go, babe.
It goes over Proverbs. Where we at?
Proverbs
5:18 through 19 comes across just as clearly as to the reader of today. Let your fountain.
This is my part.
So
Listen.
it says, let your fountain, your body part that produces life, be blessed and rejoice, or ecstatically delighted with the delight with the wife of your youth. Let her breast.
Say it again.
Let her breast satisfy you.
How you said that?
At all times. And always be interpreted to fill
and
with,
always be enraptured.
Enraptured.
Or filled.
Or filled with love.
Her love. So this is straight from Proverbs 5:18. Be filled with the breast. Right. Y'all know what that means. Fill it up. That, you know, it's not just a baby getting the milk off the boob, okay? That's especially if you have a son. That comes deeper than that. That's why the men, they be all up in the breast area, right? We go down. With so many good things in the garden and on earth, only one thing was not good. Now, y'all, please tell me y'all know the Adam and Eve story. And if you don't, please say, private message me, because we need to get you on an Adam and Eve story, okay? Even if you're not Christian and whatever, you gotta know this Adam and Eve story. And the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone.
Right.
You could speak on that one.
So, fellas.
Oh, wait, Wes, you're gonna say something. I will make him and help meet for him. Right? In those few words, God taught us that for man, there's no substitute, no alternative plan, no better companion than his wife. Drops the mic.
Boom. So, basically, it says pretty much like us men, you know, when we get by ourselves, when we get occupied, or we get bored, or we're not really busy with something, a lot of things start to creep into our mind. You know, a lot of temptations, a lot of the stuff that like you get tempted with through like just going about your day. You start thinking about stuff that you shouldn't be thinking about. You might even start thinking about porn, or somebody that flirted with you at the job, or somebody that even flirted with you just going to the store. You know, you start thinking a lot of things, and you start thinking about, like, you watching TV, now you're looking at somebody that, you know, you starting to lust over, like, dang, she looking good, you know? And now...
He sits there like he know.
You know, and now you being alone, is not helping you as far as what your wife will be there entertaining you and keeping you fulfilled, fulfilled physically, emotionally, and everything else, So your wife is your main helper and your companion, and God gives you no other substitute or no other alternate plans besides your wife to help you with this. So that's why they usually say, like even in our church, they say, look, when you conversate with the opposite sex, you got to keep it brief, even though it's business or whatever, but you want to keep it brief and make sure it's just about that business that you're talking about, or that whatever the objective of the conversation, just go ahead and handle it and get it done with.
Yeah, and it's funny that he says that. Jerry said facts.
Yeah.
It's funny that he says that, the keeping it brief, because like Brandon, I think I said this a while ago on another live. Brandon is the funniest person when I'm not with him and like a female tries to like talk to him, even if it's not even flirting, even if it's like work or business or at the gas station or at the store or he's out with his friends. Well, hopefully with the friends. I think you say you do too. But he goes so funny, like the president, like an example. So the girl could be like, hey, I'm Brandon, I'm so and so. He'll be like, yeah, I'm Brandon. No, well, she knows, hey. Yeah, so, my wife would have said, this. And I'm like, he'll tell me the story. I'm like, babe, she wasn't even, how did you even mention, like, my wife? That didn't even make sense in the sentence. Mm-hmm. Like, nothing to do with it. She could have just been like, excuse me, sir, I'm trying to get a tool over here. He'll be like, yeah, my wife would have said that one over there is nice.
No, and she might be like, where's the direction to, well, my wife told me to go down the street and you can make a left.
Yeah, and I'm like, babe, she has nothing to do with me, or I have nothing to do with the whole thing. But he's like, I don't even care, babe. I just want it to be known and out there. And I'm like, well, they see your ring. He's like, well, that don't mean nothing. Sometimes they don't care. And I'm like, well, that's kind of harsh, But it's so funny. I just thought I mentioned that.
What's the next one?
The next one here says, a man remains incomplete without his Eve. Okay, listen. Before I go further, first of all, if y'all just hopping on and you trying to see what we're reading, we have this amazing marriage Christian book. It's called Intended for Pleasure, and it's sex techniques and sexual fulfillment in a Christian marriage, right? So, guys, Amazon, get it for like $15-20, shipped overnight, or just get it for next week. But back to this part.
What did that say? You get on that one.
What?
The part you just read.
Oh, this part? A man remains incomplete without his Eve. What do you mean I get on that part? We just already know, wives, they,
y'all complete us?
That's a good way to put it. I was gonna say something else. Yeah. I'm not gonna curse while I'm reading a godly thing. But yeah, so I really do believe that at the end of the day, a wife is and I'm not just saying only me, like for all my women, all my wives out there, I do believe that we were specifically called to be the man's helper. And I know in the Bible it does say that we are like the helper and stuff like that. I know it does. But what I'm saying is I am in confirmation 10 times that we are to be the helper. Like, I do believe, and I love, my husband, that in lots of scenarios, he will be lost. He will be like, Lala, like, what? I gotta do, babe, how do I, what do I, and it's always like, babe, and I'm like, and I have to have grace and patience because I know we are here to be the helper. So when it says a man remains incomplete without his Eve, I 150,000% that I believe, and it says in the Bible, every man should have an Eve. Every man. Mm-hmm. And even if, and this is hard for some of us, even if you pass, like, it's okay for your husband when you pass or vice versa to have the other Eve or to have the other helper. I'm being nice. I'm always nice. I got my friends telling me, be nice, Jen. I'm being nice, okay? So people know me and I'm working on my niceness. So that's another thing God called me to be nice, right? The next one, going down to the second paragraph, in this brief counseling session, even before any sin and its resulting selfishness had entered the human race, we find 3 basic commands. So what's happening here? What is this? What his second teaching to a man? So he's talking about how his second teaching told man and woman how to relate in marriage, right? Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. So now it goes into the 3 basic commands, right?
Yes.
That he discusses. You want to read the 3?
Okay. So first, when we marry, we should stop being dependent on our parents or in-laws. Y'all hear that?
Or the in-laws.
We are to be completely dependent on our mate to satisfy all our needs.
Oh, you see how he said the all?
All our needs, right?
So I'm the one that's supposed to cook and not my mother.
Yes.
Well, sometimes she helps. But then I have to remember, Jen, you have to step in and you have to be the wife, okay? Not always like my mom and then I come in and, oh, let me make the plate, babe. Like, he would want me to do that. Like, he loves my mother doing it. He loves his mother-in-law. But at the end of the day, he married me, not my mother.
So, exactly. And this goes with a lot of you guys that got, like, in-laws that either live with you or they're really in your marriage and right there. This is when you got to nip that in the bud, right? Because now they're overstepping the boundaries of y'all marriage, right? So when they're overstepping the boundaries, y'all should have each other back. You know, it shouldn't be like, oh, well, she wanted to do this or she wanted to do that. No, y'all should have each other back. Y'all should be on the same page. Like, no, we're not letting her do this. This is our household, or this is our household. My father's not going to do this, you know, and stuff like that. So, again, to be solely dependent on your spouse, right? Because y'all are one together. What's the second one?
I was gonna say something about that, but I forgot.
Okay.
I forgot. I was gonna mention always. Oh, I remember. So when it comes to not depending on the in-laws or the parents, one of the biggest things that we learn to practice from the beginning is letting everybody know who comes first. So like the kids, my mom, my family, like there's literally been scenarios, and I know some of y'all probably gonna be like, Jen, you're kind of mean, but there's literally scenarios where I've had to tell my mom, or even, well, mainly my mom, because that's the closest one I'm with. I have to tell my mom, like, Ma, Brandon is first. Like, that's my husband. He is first. And sometimes, you know, she'll come back and, well, you know, I gave birth to you. I had you. I'm your mom. You know me longer. Like, she does the whole, y'all know Spanish folks how they do. Mamas don't allow that. You know, and I get it, because I tell my kids, like, I'm always going to be number one. But I understand that's not the case. But I had to put it out there. Like, there's not gonna be no arguments, no fights, no in between. I'm not gonna be the middle person or the messenger between my husband and my mother, or like him, me and his dad. Like, it doesn't work out. Like, he'll talk to his dad and tell him, hey dad, you know, I gotta talk to Jen, or this is my wife. Like, I gotta handle things with her first, you know. The second one is, the man is the one who is responsible for holding the marriage together by cleaving to his wife. Cleaving in this sense means to be welded inseparably so that each becomes a part of the other. Therefore, the man is to be totally committed to his wife. One wife.
To his one wife.
It says on there, his one wife. Not multiple, not many. His one wife. Okay? Guys, don't forget the book that we're reading is called Intended for Pleasure. You guys could look it up. It's on Amazon, about $15-20. Amazing book. We're in chapter 1. We're reading it along with y'all. You know, we read it today, but every chapter we're gonna read like the day before, the day of. So we're gonna read it like together.
So this right here, I'm gonna say this right here was really mind blowing to me, because you know, even though we're the head of the household, I thought it was more of the woman was responsible for holding the marriage together, right? And I can tell you, just coming from my background, I thought it was always the woman, because it was always the grandma that put everything together. It was the grandmas, the aunts and stuff like that. It's like they were women. The women of the family was the one that kind of kept it strong. But now that I'm reading it, and it makes sense now that if we're the head of the household, how are you going to be head of the household, but you're not keeping the household together?
Yep. And that was interesting, because I said the same thing. I've always thought is we keep the house together. You know, the mom, the wife, you know, we get the kids together, the husband, we do this, you know, we get it together. But like Brandon said, if there is not the man of the house, how is he not the one that keeps it together?
And then now I understand it when it comes to when even I talk to my kids or whatever. I have the authority voice over my wife, and they, respond a lot different when dad says something compared to, the loving mom,
And then it goes back to when it says the man left the house to cleave to his wife.
Mm-hmm.
So when it mentions cleaving, which I need to highlight this part too, babe. Cleaving in this sense means to be welded inseparably so that each becomes a part of the other. Yo, that is deep. If you guys didn't get that, like super, I didn't even know what cleaving meant, okay? Until, of course, the Bible, and you start reading this. In this sense, it means to be welded inseparably. What does that mean? We're together, we're stuck, we're union, we're one, so that each becomes a part of the other. This is big in the aspect of when we talked about marriage is not just a title. Marriage is not just a paper. No, if you look at what cleaving means when the man leaves his mom or house or whatever, this goes back into we become one. The paper is not becoming one. We're becoming one. So it's not, it's just a paper. No. And that's why, and I know. That's why when I talk to my ladies and my women out there, I'm very adamant about y'all been together 20 years and you're not married?
Yeah.
You've been together even 5 years and you still don't got a ring? 10 years, 13, 11, you got 3 kids, and I don't say it to be judging. I don't say it to talk bad. I say it because a marriage does bring that union and that cleaving, because now we know what it means, is bring us to become one, and that's what the marriage does. You're not married, you're just a baby mama. You're not one, you just not.
But like I put a post in the other
right, Renee, marriage is not just a title.
I put a post in the other day that people say marriage is just a paper, so is money, but you get up every day to go work hard for that, right?
Exactly. How you okay with getting up to work hard for money, but you're not okay with getting up and working hard for your marriage?
Right.
It's a big deal.
It's a piece of paper, right?
Third, we are commanded to be joined together in sexual union to be one flesh. Drops the mic. He should have said this one sentence at the beginning of the title of the book, and I would have been like, yo, it's done. Because it's to be joined together in a sexual unit. Y'all, listen, I do not play when it comes to my sexual union and intimacy with my husband. I don't play about it. My girls, my peoples know about it. I don't care what y'all want to call me. It is what it is. This is my husband, and it says it in the Bible. We commanded to be joined. We are commanded. Do y'all know? Listen, y'all don't want me preaching. Like, do you know? Do you guys understand what it means when it says commanded? It's not that God is just like, oh, hey guys, you guys need to be one. You're a union. No, he's commanding. He's giving orders.
Yes.
He's a commander. Do y'all know, like, a commander, when you're people in the army, if y'all in the army or any military, anything like that, commander gives the order, you must do or you go.
Yep.
So God says we are commanded to be joined together in sexual union. That's why it's so important to have that sexual intimacy. That's why when we talked about sex is important in your sexless marriage, it's not just because, oh, it's so fun and great and it feels amazing and oh my gosh. No, because anybody could do that. No offense. Anyone can make you feel great and amazing. But it's nothing like the sexual union in your marriage bond. To be one, and then the one flesh is just a wrap. It's just like, we one flesh, dog. Ain't nobody stopping that. Like, how you become one flesh?
Yeah.
And it's that's why it's deeper when people are having sex, even out of marriage. And I never understood this till I got older.
It's a point that I really can't wait till we get to. That really was mind blowing, but not yet. Okay,
let me go to the next part. The sex relationship God had designed for them brought the blessings of companionship, unity, and delight. So I heard this lady say that the other day. I was watching a marriage live, and this lady kept saying, you need, as a wife, you bring delight. You're the delight. And she kept saying it. I was like, what is she saying, delight? I don't understand. But when I start reading more and more books about delight, it's on here. Like, what does that mean? You're bringing the light, you're bringing the joy, the pleasure, the light in the marriage. And now I get it. Like at first I was like, why she keep saying bring the light? I was like, does she like that word delight? I'm thinking about the coffee creamer. Before the command to bear children was given. So wait, God has assigned for them. Oh, did I skip this?
No, you went to companion.
Delight.
And note that this was
sometime before the command to bear children was given. So even go ahead though. You can go into this part because I'm like, even before the kids were commanded.
Even before the kids was commanded, this is what he wants you to do, right? He wanted you to enjoy each other. You know, before even kids got involved in the situation, he wanted you to enjoy each other and really be one as together, because like we said at the beginning, that this goes into just you and her, you know what I mean? And so
we're gonna go a little bit faster.
You're gonna go a little bit faster.
Some have assumed that the sex act became an unholy practice when sin entered into the world. So just really brief, this goes into when Adam and Eve committed the sin. That's why we think sex is a sin, and it's just a sin, right? But now God tries to explain that it is a sin, but when you're in marriage, it's not. Like it's okay, right? What therefore God hath joined together, let no man put asunder. This is Mark 10:6-9. Guys, I have this quote on top of our bed headboard. And it's super incredible. I'll put it up. I'll take a picture. It's super incredible. Mark 10:6. What therefore God had joined together. Basically, what God put together, no one can come in between. That's it. If God put us in union, no one can break the union and come in between. And you have to, like Brandon said, you got to be strong and fight that. This is, of course, explains why the marriage union is the only way man and woman can truly enjoy the riches God has planned for them. That one's good.
So now, if God planned for you to have these riches, right? And that's why a lot of people, they don't understand. I was talking to a couple yesterday, matter of fact, that's about to get married. And they was like, man, we want to have a baby. They want this. They had so many plans. And I told them, I said, these are things to come about once you make that covenant under God.
The riches.
And these are the riches. Like if you haven't got pregnant and you ain't married, these are the riches that God promised to you, that He's gonna actually expand your household. He's gonna bless your household because now you're under His covering. You're under His covering of what He wanted to be as of us, right? So now now I'm not gonna say the devil's not gonna try to intervene, during these times, but you're going to receive more riches that's going to outweigh everything else as long as you stay on this journey.
Listen, there's been points that, like before, and we always will say this, before we got married, our arguments, our fights, our disagreements, wasn't liking each other. It was just not the best. It was like, it was a little toxic. It was like good, bad, good, bad, bad, good. But then as soon as we committed to one, had the baby, got marriage, got the union, it's like a whole new covering came and a whole new blessing. And yes, we had arguments. I'm not saying you don't argue and fight when you're married because of the blessings, but it's just a different type of the blessings, the love, the covering, the abundance.
It's a lot of things that we wrote down before, once we got married, and we didn't know how these things was going to happen. We didn't know. And so we wrote these things down, and God made a will and a way for us, made these things happen, and we didn't know. And out of nowhere, we were like, that was God. Yep. That was God showing out.
So this is the part, I believe. Is this the part you want to talk about? Yeah. Okay, so this is the part Brandon was like, oh my gosh, this is deep. That, and I was like, say it again. Because I'm a very like reader think. So it says, go ahead, you read it, babe.
Well, you want to go to the first part first before that? Okay. So husband and wives are the only creatures capable of gaining spiritual unity and a deeper knowledge of each other through sexual relationships.
Ooh, right? What does that mean? Y'all bet you're like, what?
We're the only creatures walking the earth that can experience this sexual relationship through the knowledge of each other and learn each other in a deeper sense. On top of that,
What is the?
This is the thing that I know.
What did you think you were gonna say?
This is great right here.
Fun fact.
This is a fun fact. So God creation, who relates sexually.
God's create, yeah.
Out of all His creations, we're the only ones that sexually have relations face to face.
Bam. Think about that one. I bet y'all thinking about all the animals.
Think about
because I did. I was like, what?
Think about all the animals God created. All the creatures He created. We are the only ones that can have a face-to-face
sexual encounter. Because when he read that, I was like, what about when you doing it for and he was like, yeah, babe, but when we are face-to-face, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. You know, I was in a whole nother field. So I thought about it. I was thinking of all animals. I was like, this animal, that animal. I don't even know how this animal do it.
So that right there makes sense because when you...
Right. Wow. That's what I said.
This makes sense because, you know, your eyes can be the gatehole to your soul and you looking into your soulmate. Don't let me get deep right here.
He's getting deep. Somebody, are we recording this?
Listen,
he's getting deep. Yo, I'm going to have to look in his eyes tonight, brother.
So now you looking into the eyes of the one that you becoming one with and y'all both are intertwined face to face and nobody can experience that connection but us as humans.
That's why, that's why I talked to my wives the other night and I said how important it is to have that intimacy connection with your spouse. I discussed it. We talked about something about sex. I don't even know what it was. But what did I talk about last week? Something about sex. Oh, the orgasms. I said something. We was talking about something with orgasms and I don't even know. But I discussed the value of the connection, the bond that the husband and the wife should be having. And I did mention, I said, side note, if it's not happening, seek counseling. And I don't mean it in a funny way, but that means something has to be discussed. There's either trauma, there's either problems, issues, something is not happening, something is not clicking. That makes so much sense. Listen, I'm gonna be so ready for my one. Thank God for you and my bro. I love you, sis. I miss my sister Renee. She actually she don't got a phone number no more. Let me sip my tea. Okay, so next. No, this one is deep. You know, this book, chapter 1, got deep. Please, guys, share this live. Invite your friends, married, engaged, even the single. Let the single people know and learn about the intention of marriage and the marriage with Bible and Christianity. No, this one I was like, what? No is the term used in the Bible to define our relationship to God.
Right.
Look at that.
So when it refers to the word known, it is
also the term used to designate the intimate union of husband and wife. Adam knew Eve, Genesis 4:1. Mary, speaking of her pregnancy in light of her virginity, said, "How shall this be, seeing I know not a man?"
What?
Listen, y'all, if it's passing over your heads, please tell me. I'll repeat it. Matthew 1:25 says that Joseph knew her not until after the birth of Christ.
What?
Again, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it one more time. Know is the term, K-N-O-W, when you know somebody, is the term used in the Bible to define our relationship to God. Y'all know when we read the Bible, you know God. Do you know God? Do you know God? People don't ever think of it. But no, it's used in the Bible to define a relationship to God. Mary says she didn't know the man. When the baby was born, Joseph said he knew Mary. This deep. Think about that, what I just said. Just think about that. And tell me tomorrow what y'all think, right? Matthew 1, okay, we go down. Fully express our love for our husband or wife through the dynamic opportunity of the sex act. So it says, God, we can become free as never before to fully express our love for our husband or wife through the dynamic opportunity of sex act. You know what? I think, and really quick about this part, says to fully know, remember what know means, your husband and wife through the dynamic opportunity of the sex act. This is huge. I'm glad that this was chapter 1 because a lot we're seeing marriages that are not having sex, right? Remember we talked about the sexless marriage. It's deeper than just the act. It's so much like intense, the love, the connection, the bond. This is what God intended for husband and wife through this dynamic opportunity of sex to fully express their love for each other. Going down, the only activity that is to break regular sexual relations is prayer and fasting for some specific cause. And this is to be only by mutual consent for a very limited time.
Y'all hear that?
Ding, ding, ding.
Boom. Bam. Gotcha. Wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. So look.
This is him because when we did the sexless marriage thing, Brandon was like a year.
Yeah.
Months.
So if you holding out.
That's what it is?
Yeah, if you holding out because it says regularly sexual relationship, right? You can't be holding out. You got to keep it regular. What is regular?
3 to 5 times a week.
Okay, all right. You know.
Well, for us, that's the average. Yeah. That should be the average.
So regular, unless you're praying and fasting for some specific cause that y'all both
mutually agreed
on.
So you can't, wives, ladies, you can't be like, oh, I'm gonna go on a fast for the month. I'll see you later. And husband's like, fat? What you just leaving? Yeah. Like you just gonna leave me hanging? Like, I'm ready, like, walking around the house like this.
We didn't even talk about no fast. When did we start that?
Exactly. Like, what do you mean? Or prayer. This is a good one. Wives, and then I'm talking about me too, because I've done this. When you argue or get into, or you just don't even want to mess with him, or even when we don't like him, we want to be like, oh, I'm going to go pray about it, make sure we get better.
What are you praying? Please no dick. Please
and you,
no dick.
hey,
I'm just saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, for real. Like,
no penis. The penis.
Okay. All right. Well,
so, when we're saying, I know, but you like right here, all the God stuff. So what I'm saying is, wives or even the husbands, when you guys get into it, you the whole attitude of, oh, I'm not talking to him, I'm gonna pray about his attitude, I'm gonna pray. You go a week of praying and you don't want to give him none because you over here, oh, I'm praying. No.
But hold up. But see, you can do all that.
Well, you can talk about it.
Yeah, you can talk about it, but like it said at the end right there, it said this
is
limited
something. Time.
No, this is said it's a mutual prayer. So why you gonna be praying about something that we ain't praying about together?
Or you can discuss it. Like, you know what, babe, we kind of going through it. I want to just pray about some things.
Okay.
Let's get back together in about a day
situation, or two. You know, but yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, Brandon don't play that. Like, we're not in an agreement to this, babe. The sex, what it said. It is true that our culture is saturated with sex distorted into lust, and desire has been twisted and deformed until it appears as a beast running loose in the street, destroying God-given boundaries. What's that mean?
So basically, what is going on out in the world?
Oh, what sex is deflected upon the world?
Yeah, upon the world, right? It's running the streets. It
destroys God's image of
because
sex.
of what you're seeing so much of out in the public. Mm-hmm. You know.
Then this part says.
And what is it? It says, nevertheless, our marriage bed is a holy place in the sight of God, right? So our marriage bed is a holy place in the sight of God. You get what I'm saying? That's why sometimes, I'm going to tell you, I talked to you guys about this before. I have guests come over, but I don't really let nobody go in my bedroom.
Yeah, Brenda don't like it.
Like, I've been a person, you might be that person that don't even let nobody sit on your bed. And you single or whatever, you know what I mean? I understand you completely. I'm that person too, you know, like, don't sit on my bed, okay? Right? So when you invite somebody into your holy place right there, you're breaking like laws, you know what I mean? You're breaking your spiritual,
like your covenant.
Like your covenant. So like, they can see past your room, or you can show them the house. But why you need to see my bedroom? It's not like you're gonna be in there anytime soon. We showing the house. Why you need? Oh, let me see the bedroom. What for? Like, it's
wives. A lot of ladies like the decoration. We want to show our friends, like, oh, look at this, look at that. Especially me. I'll be like, look at my scriptures on top of the headboard. I like to show that.
Now, if you got like a big closet and stuff like that, and you have all your stuff going on in there, that's cool. Whatever.
Let's see. Sex apart from marriage is spelled.
So, I was thinking about this last part I highlighted at the end. One? Yeah.
This is when I was kind of dozing off.
Yeah, she was kind of dozing
That's
off.
That's why I'm
right?
reading it like, wait, this is good.
So, I didn't know about Sarah in the Bible, right?
You didn't know the one that had the baby old?
Yeah, I totally forgot about it. She had a baby when she was 90 years old.
She was like 199.
No, she was like, what?
I know, she was like 109.
Yeah, she was 90 years old by Abraham.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Man,
it's like an infamous story.
I know, man, but I don't know. It just...
When Sarah heard that she was going to become pregnant at 90 years of age, she laughed and then made this statement to herself. After I have grown old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also. Sarah was given to us as an example of one of the most godly women, and one of her secret concerns was whether the sexual union between her and Abraham in their golden years would produce pleasurable feelings. It is God's will and design, both then and now, that the sexual experience for a man and a woman in marriage produce wonderful feelings, for God intended sexual relations for our great pleasure.
Right.
That's why we chose this book.
Yes.
Because this is absolutely a point in a time that marriage is underrated.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why, we got the final confirmation to, what? Be bold, guys. Be out. Talk to marriages. Talk to the public. Talk to the world. Because it's more than just, oh, it's just a paper, or it's just a title, oh, we live together, we're good, or, oh, I can't stand him, I'm just gonna get a divorce, or, oh, we just not doing good, he cheated, or, I'm having an affair, I'm doing this. That's not marriage. That's not what it is, and I'm not saying that we're the perfect marriage, but we have been through some things that have brought us to where we are today, and learning about the Word and God and what marriage is intended for. And even like we're reading, the sexual pleasure is not just, oh yeah, okay, you just got some and keep it moving. That's why, like, even we talk about it, like when we hear that some marriages have affairs, and like, especially like if we know the marriages, or if we know our friends that, we've heard stories or they tell us or whatever, we try our best to bring them closer to God, or closer to an understanding that, man, no matter what you're going through in your marriage, affairs and all that is deeper than what you're doing. Like, we discussed it, because I talked to Brandon like, boy, you have no legs. Like, that is not going down. Like, we had a big discussion, but I looked at it and that's not happening. You're not about to be in the streets. But then Brandon came to me and he was like, babe, it's deeper than what you're saying. And I didn't get it until recently, because I'm like, whatever, is cheating, it is what it is. And he was like, no, it's deeper when you have an affair. It's deeper when you do adultery. It's deeper when you have a side piece or a side girl, or whatever the case may be. It's deeper than just, oh, I went out and I slept with another chick. Especially in marriage, he's like, babe, it's your union is, and he broke this basically what we're reading. But the book is getting even deeper. But he broke all of this down to me, and I was like, what? You look at it that deep? Because I wasn't. I just know I'm not to do an affair. That's not what you do.
But you got to look at it as like, after somebody really has an affair or they're doing that, why would you want to be with somebody? Like it's like used goods, and I see where people can get disgusted, and when somebody does something like that, you get what I'm saying?
It's difficult
because you gave your all to that person, or you just, because it's open with you and your spouse or whoever you're married to. It's open. It's y'all. It's you. It's you mine. I'm yours. You get what I'm saying? I can lick all over your body. Ain't got a problem, because it's my body as well. You know what I'm saying? But then when you
lick it up, baby.
But when you bring other people in, it's not yours. It's not yours. You don't do, it's something like you don't have the passion
And you know, and when he mentioned this, it encourages me more, of which I wasn't anyways, but it kind of brings me more to the thought of, why would I mess around and mess this up with him? Even if I'm mad or angry or we're not doing good or whatever, I think back to all these conversations that we're having and how he feels about it. And then, y'all already know I don't play when it comes to my activities. When I know what I have, and when I know the greatness of what I have, if y'all know what I'm trying to say, why would I mess that up? Because he's already saying, oh, I'm not fooling with you if you do a slip up. That means all those benefits and all those, like he just said, like the whole shebang is going to be gone. Why would I mess that up and not even knowing if this next dude is gonna be my next husband? Because that's what it would have to be.
Yeah, and that's when also, you know, if y'all don't know anything about soul ties,
oh gosh,
that's another deep part.
We gotta talk about that
now
one day.
Now you connected with somebody else's, you know what I'm saying, soul, and you're soul tied to that person that, you know, even though you crept with them or whatever, and you're trying to move forward, it's still resonating in both the back of both of y'all minds, no matter what you say. You know, it could be just one little thing she's saying, and that can bring that incident up.
But it goes back to also, like you said, babe, when it comes to adultery and things like that, I believe that it's also the value of what you have in your marriage.
Yes.
Like if you're, like you said, you value what we have.
Yeah. So you got to invest in it.
That, and I'm not, and I'm gonna say this out there, guys. I'm not saying, I'm not being funny, because if I have, you know, because I know if I have some friends that you're like, well, you trying to say my wife didn't care because she wanted crab. I'm not necessarily saying that, but what I am saying is that the value of the definition of marriage in her eyes or his eyes was not completed, because that did occur. I will say that, I will. And I'll tell any spouse that cheated in their face, like, you did not at that moment you did not value, you did not understand a deeper meaning of the marriage, of love, or something was going on, and it's possible that you just was going through some struggles and you didn't value the wife or the spouse or whatever at that time. It is what it is. It's real.
That's why,
you know, and that's why we agree that no matter what happens, bad, good, indifferent, or whatever, we have a way deeper value, and we're learning, and this is why we're on here, because we want others to learn the value and the understanding of what marriage is intended to be
together, you know. And that's why you don't want nobody to leave the house during an argument or anything. You don't want no headaches and nothing like that, being mad on the phone. You want to end the conversation in a good sense. You like, you know, even if it's a heated conversation between you and your spouse, you want to be like, look, I'm not seeing eye to eye with you. You're not seeing eye to eye with me right now. I understand what you're going through. You don't see what I'm going through. But let's just, you know, we'll talk about this later. And, you know, I just want you to have the rest of your day. Your rest of the day goes smooth. You know, I hope this don't inflict anything that's going on with your day. Have a smooth day. For real, like, just be level-headed about the situation. We'll talk about it later when we both are on the right mindset. So the next chapter.
Next chapter, Wednesday, guys.
Chapter 2.
It's getting juicy. It's only chapter 1. What's chapter 2? Finding God's design.
What's that going to be about?
I don't know.
So we'll be back on Wednesday on Finding God's Design. Again, you guys can go to our webpage, which is direct.me /Barker Worldwide. Also, marriage porn, you can follow us on Instagram. That's marriage.p.o.r.n. Stands for Pure, Open, Renew, and Navigate, guys. You can go on that and follow us as well. We're also
we're on everywhere. We're YouTube. It's on our link.
The Barker's YouTube channel. You can
Barker family.
Check that out and like and subscribe on
that
as well.
Empire Coaching. Y'all don't forget my handsome husband over here. Look at these muscles. He's doing, you know, his sessions, his private coaching. Like, it's a season of abundance. It's a season of growth. It's a season of being bold and you
planting
know,
your seeds.
And it's also the season of living the skills that we have. Like, all of us have some skill, some talent that God has given us. We all have one or even multiple talents. God has planted everybody with a talent, with a skill. Every one of us, we all had a vision. We all have something. And Brandon and I decided, like, you know what? It's the year. We've had way too many confirmations between our friends and the church and the Bible and God and books that they're like, do what the talents I've given you. And one of Brandon's biggest talents is his coaching. A lot of you know and seen him coaching for 10, 15 years, like volunteer. And it came to the point that somebody said, bro, I will pay you to coach my child. I will pay you. All he had to say was those words for me to tell my husband, that's confirmation. God is telling you, he's been telling us for years, but that right there was confirmation. Babe, start that coaching business you've always wanted to have. Start that coaching business you've always had a passion for. I've always told him for years, you need to be a college coach. Being the professionals, you need to be making them 6-7 figures as the coaches. But then it's like, you can make 6-7 figures as your own label. You know what I mean? So we started that, guys. Message us on that. We're going to put information up. You guys know I'm the director, the marketing, the promoter, the finance lady. I'm the wife, the cook. Listen, I'm everything on the background, right? He is the main boss, does everything up front. I'm helping him. We're marketing that. We have promotions. We have so many good deals going on with that. And just many more things that the Barkers have to offer. We're a lot in one. You know, we have so many talents. Y'all know I do my counseling. I do my Spanish classes. We just everywhere. God put us for everything. Like, we're just good. We have many talents,
and
many
if
skills.
if you don't say nothing, won't nobody know, right? Right.
Exactly. Everybody's listen. What they say, yesterday prices are not today's. So the Barkers, we have our Empire Coaching. Let us know. We're doing a promo of 1 free session out of your packages. Let us know. We're doing our marriage platform. Our program starts May 15th. We're going to put up some more information. May 15th, we're starting our first private Zoom session with our married couples. We were taking a limited handful, and then we're going to have a retreat at the end of the, I believe it's 6 weeks that we're doing. So guys, let us know. We're going to put more information. Thank y'all for chiming in. I appreciate y'all. Hit us up privately if you have any questions on the book, Intended for Pleasure. If you have any questions for the marriage program, May 15th. Any questions on the Empire Coaching for Mr. Brandon, Coach Barker. He's so handsome in these streets. Or my Spanish lessons. I'm doing some Spanish lessons as well. Listen, we have it. You want it. You might have it. We might want it. We might, we might want some partners. Other marriages. Come on, we want to do this together, help everybody grow and build and be uplifted. So on that note, guys, we thank you. It's been the time. We appreciate y'all. And y'all have a blessed night. See y'all Wednesday.
See y'all Wednesday.
Invite some people. Share.
Chapter 2.
Thanks.
All right.